Here are 10 cars that have aged best in GTA Online. This will be highlighting some very iconic cars from the start of GTA 5 or just after, and really looking at how these cars have evolved with their various newer counterparts. Subscribe to the channel if you are new, and let's get into it. I think in terms of iconic vehicles, there is no better place to start than the Buffalos. Nowadays in GTA Online, there is so many different versions of this. One of the very early versions we got was the Buffalo S, which will have access to a missile lock-on jammer nowadays, and for this price tag, you can really see how much has changed in GTA Online. In my opinion, the Buffalo definitely has some of the best variations, from the Buffalo STX, which is quite easily one of the better cars in GTA Online, with its Imani tech upgrades, having the armor plating, being extremely easy to control and drive, to the Buffalo EVX, which again is a really feature-rich car, having things like the HSW upgrades and also the Imani tech like the Buffalo STX. So in terms of vehicles that have aged best, the Buffalo ones just have to be right up there. After the set of Buffalo vehicles, we have the Sultan. In terms of iconic vehicles in the GTA series, the Sultan just has to be up here. And in terms of how it has really evolved with time, it does have some different versions, but I genuinely do think that the standard Sultan, which you can upgrade through bennies, is still one of the best choices. I mean, picking up the stock vehicle for $12,000 already makes this a really nice thing to get. And obviously with the bennies upgrades, to turn this into the Sultan RS, you can make this vehicle really stand out. The standard Sultan has been in the game since launch, and it also spans across different GTA titles. Additionally, with the bennies upgrades, it really does perform extremely well. Still pretty fast for what it is, a really nice throwback car. A car that is also really similar to the Sultan, with its different potential upgrades, is of course the Elegy. Just like the Sultan, you can upgrade the Elegy at bennies and turn it into the Elegy Retro Custom. Super iconic for how this one looks, and I genuinely think that any bennies vehicle really just stands the test of time, because there are so many different upgrade options. You can really do whatever you like, and yeah, for how much this changes the standard or stock versions of these cars, I think every GTA Online player should at least strive for one of these. They are definitely some of the better ones, at least from the bennies website. And the performance of both the Sultan and the Elegy Retro Custom are still incredible. I still love how the Elegy Retro Custom handles, and it still has a pretty nice top speed, but nothing too crazy. Another car from way back in the day of GTA Online will be the Turismo R. Nowadays in GTA Online, this has so many different versions, and honestly, it is quite similar to the Buffalo in this respect. The Turismo R itself is still a great car to have, although it definitely lacks some of the newer upgrade options. So if you guys wanted a different car which is still a Turismo one, you could look for things like the Turismo Classic, which offer you the HSW upgrades and perform incredible, or even the Turismo Omaggio, which will have access to the Imani tech upgrades. Unfortunately, the standard Turismo will not have anything like this. I really wish that Rockstar added the HSW upgrades to it at least, or even just a simple missile lock-on jammer. As of right now, it is still pretty much unchanged from when it released. If I was going to choose one Turismo vehicle, it would definitely be the Turismo Classic, and if you guys do have access to the HSW upgrades, I would highly recommend trying to get it. Now for quite an underrated pick that has had a various amount of upgrades since its release date all the way back on June 10th in 2015, it is the Stirling GT. You will be able to throw on the HSW upgrades to this, and also the missile lock-on jammer, making this an incredible car altogether. With the HSW upgrades applied to the Stirling GT, it does handle surprisingly well. You can also throw on some off-road tires, and it does actually make the Stirling GT handle some different bumps a little bit better than it typically would. For quite a long time in GTA Online, Rockstar did have the Stirling GT removed from all of its websites, which was honestly so annoying because you could not buy this really anywhere unless a friend had this and took it over to the LS Car Meet, or instead you waited for an event week where the Stirling GT was available at one of the test ride places. Luckily, Rockstar did change the vehicles that were removed, and the Stirling GT is back again on the Legendary Motorsport website. Moving on from the Stirling GT, we have another really iconic vehicle in the GTA series. This will of course be the Bravado Banshee. The standard Banshee itself is still a really nice car, but it also has some really nice different versions, which really cover everything that you could possibly want. First of all, the standard Banshee can have the HSW upgrades, and it is one of the most affordable HSW cars. You could also get the Banshee 900R, upgrade it with the bennies upgrades, making it really stand out and become super unique. And then in terms of a newer Banshee car, we of course have the Banshee GTS, which has access to the HSW upgrades and a missile lock-on jammer, and is currently the fastest HSW car that we have in the game right now. So yeah, with the Banshee and its different versions or variants variations. You have a lot of different choices. I love how the Banshee 900R looks, with all of the Benny's upgrades included. I'm sure many of you guys have at least one of these versions of the Banshee, whether it be the Banshee GTS, the 900R, or the standard Banshee. For me at least, I love the Banshee GTS the most. I love the top speed of this car, especially with the HSW upgrades, and with the included missile lock-on jammer that you can throw on, it makes it even better. For a car that really does go under the radar quite often nowadays is the grotty Cheetah. The standard Cheetah honestly is really dated by the majority of these vehicles, but it will have access to a missile lock-on jammer. I still think it looks like a really nice car, such a nice throwback. And in terms of upgrade potential and different Cheetah vehicles, recently we did get the LSCM Cheetah Classic, and if you decide to purchase this, it will come included with a missile lock-on jammer. However, just be warned, because it will have limited customization, you will be able to remove this livery, which you will see at the Legendary Motorsport website, and for the most part that is really all you can do with this. There might be some really small adjustments you can make to things like the wheels, but other things like turbo and things like that, essentially the LSCM Cheetah Classic is pre-modded. It also has some great handling. The next car that we have has really stood the test of time, because Rockstar have been updating this vehicle. It was already a really good choice, however Rockstar did make this better. It will be of course the Duco Def. The Duco Def already had some explosive resistance, making it a really solid choice all the way back in GTA Online when things like the Oppressor Mark II did not exist. It also has some bullet resistance because of the style of the windows, and nowadays in GTA Online it also has a missile lock-on jammer, quite easily making it a really solid choice for public sessions. It was released all the way back on November 18th in 2014, and yeah, with the addition of the missile lock-on jammer, the Duco Def is a really cheap alternative to some of the armor plating Imani tech cars. If you are new to GTA Online, this is something you want to try and get as soon as you can. I think this next car is going to be a really obvious choice. Following on from the Duco Def, it is obviously the Armoured Kuruma. Unfortunately, the Armoured Kuruma has not had as much love from Rockstar as the Duco Def, but the Armoured Kuruma is still incredible, especially for missions and some different heist setups. The NPCs in GTA Online really do struggle to hit you at all when you are driving the Armoured Kuruma, making this one of the best choices for them really hard missions or difficult heist setups. The only downside of the Armoured Kuruma is of course it not having any explosive resistance like the Duco Def or even the missile lock-on jammer. If the Kuruma did have the missile lock-on jammer at least, it would make it a little bit more worth using, but with that aside, I still think it is one of them really iconic cars, released a long time ago, just a little over 10 years ago, which still feels insane to say. And last but not least, for the final iconic car that has aged really well, we have the Zentorno. I remember when the Zentorno was released all the way back in 2014, and pretty much everyone in public sessions would try and get this. Nowadays in GTA Online, it will have access to the missile lock-on jammer and even some different liveries, which can make the Zentorno look a lot better. In terms of performance of the Zentorno, it still holds up relatively well. From time to time, I still use this, and in total, I do think it probably is one of my favorite cars added to GTA Online. Just extremely fun to drive this. Although it has no explosive resistance, obviously, it still is pretty armored from the back with this sort of design, so you might find this quite useful in different missions. To round out this whole video, we of course have some honourable mentions, and I think this is where I just have to include the Entity and its various different other cars. There was one main factor why I did not include this in the main list, and it's because the standard Entity XF is unfortunately one of them vehicles removed by Rockstar, so you will only be able to purchase that in different event weeks or if somebody else has the vehicle and you buy it from them at the LS car meet. Even taking this into consideration, the other Entity vehicles are still in the game. We have the Entity XXR, not a bad choice whatsoever. I think it looks really clean, extremely pricey though, and the Entity MT, another really pricey car. However, for the missile lock-on jammer upgrade and the HSW upgrades, and sort of being a tribute to the original Entity XF, you really cannot go wrong with this. The final honourable mention is a car that really still holds up extremely well. I also think it sounds really unique. This is the XA21. It looks so different from other cars. It is very fast and it controls pretty nicely. It will also have access to the missile lock-on jammer, so some nice upgrade potential at least. However, it will cost a really high price of $2.3, nearly $2.4 million, so very pricey but could still be worthwhile. So yeah, that will be 10 cars that have aged best in GTA Online with their different versions as well. Obviously, some of these cars do not have different versions, but they still offer you at least something, from the missile lock-on jammer to some Imani tech upgrades or even the HSW upgrades. If I was going to pick out the best thing or even the best set of cars, I would probably say that the Buffaloes with the STX and the EVX will be the best best choices overall, probably followed by the Banshees. They offer you so many different options, different customization, and the total can be quite overpowered, especially the Buffalo ones. I'm sure many of you guys already have the Buffalo STX or the EVX and know how good these are. But yeah guys, that will already wrap it up for this video. Make sure to leave a comment below and let me know what your favorite car is here. Maybe you like it from a unique standpoint, or maybe you like a certain version of one of these cars. And of course, if you guys think I should have included a certain car with various different upgrades or different variations of that car, make sure to leave it in the comments below. But yeah, if you guys went on to enjoy this video or found it useful in any way, shape or form, leave a like on this video. I always do appreciate your support. And if you are new here and like what you see, subscribe and hit that bell icon to never miss a video. Finally guys, stay safe, thanks for watching, and I will catch you in the next one.